Hey everyone, and welcome to the Deep Dive. I'm John.
And I'm Tiffany.
We're for the Morse Global Finance Podcast team, and today we're diving into goldsilver.com.
Yeah, they've become, pretty popular for buying and selling precious metals.
There's so many options out there, though. How do you know who to trust?
Especially with something as valuable as, like, gold and silver, right?
Exactly. So that's what we're going to try to figure out today. What is goldsilver.com all about? What do they offer? And do they actually live up to their reputation?
Yeah, in times of, like, economic uncertainty, people often turn to precious metals as a safe haven.
Right.
And it seems like goldsilver.com is really tapping into that.
Yeah. So who's behind goldsilver.com?
Well, it was founded back in 2005 by a well-known guy in the precious metals world.
Okay.
He's written a lot about it. He's even got a video series where he lays out, like, his whole view of the financial system. And what's interesting is he predicts a major financial crisis.
Oh, wow.
One that could really change, like, our whole monetary system.
So that's where the appeal of precious metals comes in, right?
Exactly. They're supposed to hold their value better than traditional assets during, economic turmoil.
So why does he think a crisis is going to happen?
He argues that the current monetary system, the one based on, like, fiat currency, is just inherently unstable. He points to historical examples of, like, fiat currencies collapsing and, the potential for inflation to just erode the purchasing power of, like, paper money.
Right.
And he sees precious metals, especially gold and silver, as a hedge against those risks. They offer, like, a store of value that's endured for centuries.
That's a pretty bold prediction. Makes you wonder if maybe diversifying into precious metals isn't such a bad idea. Is this guy, the founder, a lone wolf in his beliefs? Or are there other people at goldsilver.com who share this view?
Oh, he's definitely not alone. A key researcher at the company, Alan Hibbert, he has a really interesting background, actually.
Okay.
He started in traditional finance, but then he, like, completely embraced the Austrian school of economics.
The Austrian school? I've heard that term before, but I never really understood it. Can you, do you explain it?
Absolutely. So basically, the Austrian school emphasizes free markets, limited government intervention, and sound money principles.
Okay.
They see precious metals as, like, a more stable form of money than, fiat currencies, which are prone to manipulation and inflation.
Right.
This really aligns with, like, goldsilver.com's whole philosophy and their focus on precious metals as this safe haven asset.
It makes sense. It sounds like they have a specific worldview.
Yeah.
One that guides their approach to investing. So besides just buying and selling precious metals, what else does goldsilver.com offer?
Well, they have a bunch of different services that try to appeal to both experienced investors and people who are, like, totally new to precious metals. For example, they can help you set up and manage a gold and silver IRA.
A gold and silver IRA? What's that?
It's basically a self-directed IRA where you hold actual gold and silver instead of the usual stocks and bonds you'd find in, like, a typical retirement account.
They partner with custodians like Equity Trust to make it all happen.
So if you're worried about the stock market or you want to diversify your retirement portfolio, this could be a good option.
Exactly. And then for people who are really, really serious about precious metals investing, they've got this program called the Gold Silver Insider Program.
Okay, tell me more about that. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, so it's like a VIP program for people who invest a lot of gold or silver through their platform. Think like 500 ounces of silver or 10 ounces of gold.
Wow, that's a serious commitment. What kind of perks do these insiders get?
They get early access to market insights and analysis from their team of experts.
Okay.
Even direct communication with the founder himself.
Wow.
It's meant to give them an edge in the precious metals market.
So it sounds like they're catering to a specific type of investor, right?
Yeah, people who really believe in the long-term value of precious metals.
Right. But peace of mind is important when you're investing in something like gold or silver. How do they deal with security? They offer secure vault storage options through partnerships with, like, Brinks and IDS.
Oh, okay.
These companies are known for, being really secure. So you can store your precious metals in their highly secure facilities and not have to worry about, theft or loss.
That makes sense. So what happens when you're ready to sell? Is it complicated?
No, not at all. They have a sell to us service that makes it super easy.
Okay.
You just request a quote, send your metals back to them, and they handle the rest.
So you've got the services covered. But what can you actually buy on goldsilver.com?
They have a wide selection of products for, like, both collectors and investors.
Okay, like, give me the rundown.
Well, for gold, they have Instavault Gold, where you can own like a fraction of a gold bar. Then there's 1 ounce bars from different mints, larger bars like 10-ounce ones, even 1 kilo bars.
So they've got everything from small investments to those like big gold bars you see in the movies. What about silver?
They've got a good selection of silver, too. Instavault Silver for smaller investments, silver rounds, popular coins like the American Silver Eagle and Canadian Silver Maple Leaf, larger bars, even special edition pieces for, collectors.
So what if you want to build a gold and silver IRA?
They have specific products for that, too.
Okay.
They have a selection that meets all the IRS requirements for a self-directed IRA.
So you can build your retirement portfolio with gold and silver.
Exactly.
What if you want to, I don't know, wear your investments, like make a statement? Do they offer anything like that?
Actually, they do. They have a brand called AUE that makes high-carat gold jewelry. They market it as a blend of investment and wearable art.
Oh, that's cool. It's like having your cake and eating it too.
Yeah.
You get a beautiful piece of jewelry that's also a potential asset.
Right.
So it sounds like they have a pretty comprehensive offering. But besides just the products, what sets goldsilver.com apart?
Their commitment to educating their customers, they go beyond just selling you something. They have a ton of resources on their website. An investing guide, a gold price chart. They even let you access that video series we talked about earlier, the one where the founder explains his theories about the financial system.
So they're not just trying to sell you something. They're actually trying to teach you about precious metals investing. That's great. But what do actual customers say about goldsilver.com?
Well, the reviews are a bit of a mixed bag.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have a fantastic rating on some platforms like Trustpilot, but on other sites like the Better Business Bureau and SiteJabber, the reviews are not so great.
Interesting. So what are people saying?
A lot of the positive reviews talk about how helpful the staff are.
Okay.
For instance, one customer mentioned Travis and how he really helped with a tricky money transfer. And then another one praised Sam for being like a really quick problem solver.
It's always good to hear about companies going above and beyond for their customers.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially when it comes to finances. That personal touch can really make a difference.
Absolutely. There are also some good comments about how easy it is to order on the site and the educational resources they offer. People seem to like that they try to, make precious metals investing easier to understand.
Yeah. It sounds like they're really trying to educate their customers. But let's talk about the negative feedback. What are some of the common complaints?
Well, some customers say they had trouble with customer service. Like the staff was unhelpful or didn't respond to them.
That's never good.
Yeah. And there are also some concerns about order fulfillment. Like some customers experienced delays or problems with their shipments.
That's frustrating, especially when you're dealing with something as valuable as precious metals. It sounds like they have some work to do in those areas.
Yeah, definitely. Those are things they need to address. Good customer service and efficient order fulfillment are super important for any company, but especially when they're dealing with financial transactions.
So where does this leave us? It sounds like goldsilver.com has a lot of positives. A variety of products, helpful resources, a commitment to educating customers, and, a unique take on the financial system. But they also have some things they could improve, like customer service and making sure orders are fulfilled smoothly.
Yeah, that's a good summary.
They're not perfect, but they do seem to have a lot to offer, especially if you're interested in precious metals investing.
Right. And like we've been saying, it's really important to do your own research, read reviews from different sources, and, really weigh the pros and cons before making a decision.
Absolutely. You should always approach any investment with a bit of skepticism and make sure you understand what you're getting into. Don't just take someone's word for it, even if they're, a big name in the industry.
Yeah.
So for our listeners, if you're thinking about adding precious metals to your portfolio, goldsilver.com is worth checking out.
For sure.
But do your research.
Yeah, compare them to other options and make sure they fit your investment goals and your, risk tolerance.
Remember, knowledge is power. The more you know about precious metals, the better decisions you'll make.
Absolutely.
Now, we've talked about goldsilver.com and their philosophy, precious metals as a hedge against a financial crisis.
Right.
But what does that actually mean for, the average person? How should we be thinking about precious metals in our overall financial strategy?
That's a really important question, and it's one we should think about carefully. Before you invest in anything, you need to understand, the bigger economic picture and what the risks and rewards might be.
For sure. Precious metals can be a good addition to a portfolio, but they're not, a guaranteed way to get rich. They have their own risks. You need to understand how they've performed in the past, what the market is like right now, and how they fit into your overall financial goals.
Exactly. And the value of precious metals can go up and down, just like any other asset. It's not always going to be profitable. You need to be ready for that.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive into goldsilver.com, remember, this conversation isn't over. This is just the start of, exploring precious metals and alternative investments.
Yeah, there's always more to learn, always more to think about when it comes to your financial well-being.
We've given you an overview of goldsilver.com, but it's up to you to keep learning. Do your own research, get different perspectives, and don't be afraid to ask questions.
And remember, investing in your own financial knowledge is the most important thing you can do.
Exactly. The more you know, the better equipped you'll be to handle the, complexities of finance and make decisions that are right for you.
Right.
That's a great point to end on. Knowing what you're doing is key to making good financial decisions, whether you're looking at precious metals, traditional investments, or anything else.
For sure. It's about taking charge of your financial future, making smart choices, and not being afraid to think differently.
Well said. Now let's take a closer look at some of the specific customer feedback, both the good and the bad, because real-life experiences can tell us a lot about a company, don't you think?
Oh, definitely. Customer feedback is super valuable when you're evaluating a platform like goldsilver.com.
Yeah, it gives us a glimpse into what it's like to be a customer and shows us what they do well and where they need to improve.
Exactly.
So what do people say about goldsilver.com?
And that kind of brings us back to something we talked about earlier, with the world changing so fast. Is it time to rethink how we protect our money?
Yeah, that's a big question. And there's no easy answer. But it's definitely something to think about, especially after everything we've learned about goldsilver.com and what's happening in the economy.
What I find interesting is that precious metals like gold and silver, they're not just about their monetary value.
Right.
They represent something real, something that lasts in a world that feels, I don't know, more and more uncertain and intangible.
You're right. It's like they give you a feeling of security, like you're holding on to something solid when everything else feels shaky.
Exactly. And I think that's part of why people are so interested in gold and silver IRAs.
Yeah, it's about diversifying not just your investments, but your peace of mind, too.
Right. It's like having a backup plan, a plan B for when the, traditional systems might not work anymore.
Exactly.
And it's not just about being scared or pessimistic. It's about being proactive, taking control of your financial future, and looking at options that, maybe aren't so traditional.
So as we wrap up our deep dive, I think the main takeaway for our listeners is this. Don't be afraid to, question things, challenge the way things are usually done, and explore different ways to grow your wealth and keep it safe.
Exactly. And remember, there's not just one right way to do things. The best approach is what works for you, your level of risk, and your long-term goals.
Whether you're interested in precious metals, the Austrian School of Economics, or just want to be a smarter investor, keep learning.
Yeah, there's a ton of information out there. Don't be afraid to really dig in, ask questions, and challenge what you think you know.
Who knows? Maybe you'll discover something amazing along the way. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into goldsilver.com.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed it.
Until next time, happy exploring.